Hello there, welcome back to Monkey Gardening for another year. Spring has finally arrived, or something that feels like spring anyway. It stopped raining. It's been dry for the last few days. So yesterday was the first time I actually got out here. You'll remember that at the end of last year the garden was completely waterlogged and churned up from when Bunny came round to cut these trees back. It's like one of the wettest days of the year. So I've literally not been out here since then. Apart from to pick a few herbs until yesterday. So I'm just having a little look round, see what needs to be sorted, and there's quite a lot that needs to be sorted out. So over here you can see these holes in the ground where I've gone around with a fork just to try and create some more drainage, which I've tried in previous years. It doesn't make much difference. Okay, so over here we've got what was left of the cherry tree that Bunny felled. Nice chunk of wood there which I'm going to keep. We'll get rid of the rest. There was an old, it was actually the door from the shed over here, keeping all this lot dry. That got ripped off in a storm. I think it's actually the other side of this fence. So I need to do something about that. I'm going to order some storage boxes for here, which I should have done last year, which I'm definitely going to do now. And some more fences. Over here, it's all a bit of a mess here. This is where my raspberry and blackberry, that's the one, plants are. That all needs sorting out. Herbs are doing well. Chives are looking particularly healthy. That's continued to be great. I also want to get some kind of polytunnel or little greenhouse this year. I want to grow some basil. But I'm not quite sure what else I'm going to grow. I've still got all of these strawberry plants. Hopefully we'll get a decent yield off them this year. I think I was away on holiday last year, missed a lot of the harvest. My garden chair is looking a bit sorry for itself. That needs fixing somehow. And I also need to get rid of some of these beds. I want to get rid of this bed here probably, and the one at the back, which I've said about a million times before, but I've not got around to it. I was intending to do it when I had the skip here, but it was just so wet it was impossible. So yeah, that's about it for now. So while it's still sunny, I'm going to enjoy being out here. There's a load of rubbish and stuff to tidy up around the drive area, so I'm going to do that. Anyway, great to have you back, and see what kind of year we have. As I say, I've not decided what I'm going to grow yet. I need to have a think. Well, here we are. It's nearly 3 weeks since that last bit of footage you've just seen. The weather's been absolutely terrible. Rain every day. I've managed to get out here for one day in the last 3 weeks and paint this one fence panel both sides. Other than that, it's just been constant rain. It's still pretty muddy out here, but I can at least walk around now. But yeah, we finally got a sunny day. It's Easter weekend now. Tomorrow's supposed to be nice as well, Easter Sunday. But yeah, it's been a very long, very cold, very wet winter. In fact, it was so cold we had some weeks where it never got above freezing, and we even had some snow, which is, well, in recent years very unusual. And I took some footage of me building a snowman, which you can see now. Hello and welcome back to Monkey Gardening. There's not much gardening going on, but I had to show you the garden in the snow. It's not happened for years and years, well, at least not since I've been doing the gardening channel. Particularly being this close to the city centre these days, it hardly ever gets this cold. But I'm taking advantage, there's no one around, so I'll build myself a snowman. Well, there you go, there's our snowman. The snow's melting really, really quickly, so I think I just got out of bed in time. But yeah, that's the first snow in, I don't know, well over a decade. But yeah, it's melting really quickly. But there's more on the way apparently, according to the forecast. We weren't supposed to get this much. So today's mission is to replace that fence panel. I'm on my own, so it's going to be a bit of a struggle to hold it up. But I've got to make the most of the weather. Okay, so that's the old crappy panel removed. The only problem I've got now is there's some big chunky nails sticking out, which I can't get out with my hammer. So I've just been around to my neighbour to borrow this enormous crowbar, so hopefully this will do it. Okay, wasn't too bad. A bit of wiggling around and then drilling holes and screwing it in. This crowbar was very useful. It's amazing what you can do with a bit of leverage. So yeah, pretty pleased that's in. Wasn't too much hassle. I'm not quite sure what the weather's going to do for the rest of the day. I'm going to try and get that panel painted. It's supposed to be dry tomorrow, so even if it rains later, I can get it in there tomorrow. I'll tell you what makes these things easier is having decent tools. This is my DeWalt drill, which Bird gave me, and yeah, I never really spent much money on expensive tools. Well, I still haven't. Bird gave me this, but the hype is real. DeWalt stuff is an absolute joy to use. Okay, that's another fence panel done, or that side at least. This pump action thing, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. When it's working well, it's so much faster than using a brush, but you can get into a real mess with it. My top tips are keep the pressure high, so keep pumping this up every couple of minutes. Make sure that the paint isn't too thick. Quite often when it comes in the tin, it's been sat around for a while, it's kind of like jelly-like, so don't be afraid of mixing it down with a fair bit of water. It's water-based anyway. And then the other thing is, every so often, if it starts being splattery rather than a spray, just unscrew this nozzle and give it a quick rinse. You might have to do that like a couple of times per panel, but it's definitely better than just sort of struggling on with it, because the amount of time you're saving not using a brush, it's worth it for just rinsing that out occasionally. So yeah, I got myself into a mess with this. Most of the times I've used it, but it is useful. Okay, so now I'm going to rip out this old fence panel here. Okay, that's the second one in. Need a little bit of persuasion, but since I'm dealing with loads of tree roots and things, I'm pretty pleased with the alignment. It's not completely straight, but it's about as close as you're going to get without cutting this entire tree down and getting rid of the stump. Okay, that's it, it's painted up. And yeah, it's looking way better down the end of this garden. So now I'm going to carry on and paint this panel over here, but I won't bore you with that. I've already bored you enough with paint drying today. So that'll do for this episode. Hopefully the next episode we'll actually do some gardening. But at the moment the priority is just to tidy things up out here. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.